Uh, Iman had to go to take an exam, but I thought Hassan would be here. We didn't just abandon Hassan, did we? I don't know. Iman had to go study he had a calculus exam or something. Yeah. All right. We're going to call the meeting of the California Community Colleges Board of Governors to order. Thanks so much, folks. Good morning. It's a beautiful rainy morning and the river is high. So we're going to, it's really high. So we're going to actually move around a little bit. We're going to start with item 3.6, which is a zero net energy workforce development. Chancellor, Vice Chancellor.
Yes, for this presentation, I'd like to turn it over to Vaughn, who will walk us through where we're at.
Good morning, Chancellor Oakley, President Estolano, Vice President Epstein, and members of the board. As you know, the governor is very much driving clean energy goals for the state of California. And more recently, Senate Bill 350, the Clean Energy and Pollution Reduction Act, has put in place some new regulations that affect energy efficiency standards. So in this panel, we'd like to share how the community colleges are playing a vital role in developing the workforce that supports the state's clean energy goals. I'm here with two panelists. If you remember, President Estolano, when we were doing the Strong Workforce Roadshow, the Southern California Leadership Group hosted us in a discussion, and that body has three former governors sitting on its board. And so with me is the president of the Southern California Leadership Group, Kish Rajan. And in addition to Kish, we have Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell is our sector navigator overseeing and orchestrating the training activities across all our colleges in this area. And he will speak to how, especially as we think about guided pathways, and those students that aspire to go straight into the workforce, while they study things that they're interested in, it is important that they also study what employers want. So Jim will be discussing with us efforts to engage faculty and our industry in building curriculum that is to industry standards. So let me turn it over to Jim.
Thank you, Vaughn. Thank you very much for allowing me to present today. I'm going to make a few remarks, go through a short presentation, and then I'd like for Kish to put this into perspective as to some work we're doing in Southern California through the Southern California Leadership Council. SB 350 is really important. It's the Clean Energy and Pollution Reduction Act of 2015. It sets the state's goals for energy efficiency and greenhouse gas reduction. And the workforce needs quite a serious upgrade in order to be able to install and maintain systems that are compliant with this law. So we're really focused on that. We're focused on building a branded channel called Built to Industry Standards. And a branded channel is really important because it lets employers know that we're a source of a quality workforce. It lets students know that this is a high demand channel for jobs. It lets faculty know that there's a professional learning community associated with this, and that the whole thing is synchronized in a way to meet SB 350. So the characteristics of this channel are pretty interesting. Alignment with an industry value credential, right? Something that an employer will use to hire people with. Employers helping us facilitate recruiting students and enrollment, and helping with persistence by keeping that message in front of students and offering internships. It offers students the ability to transfer among colleges and to pursue higher levels of specialization and credentials associated with that. And finally, faculty, continuing to work together to respond to a really fast evolving set of technologies in this market. So I'm going to highlight this, what we're doing to create this channel. And it is a work in progress. It's not done yet. We don't want to tell industry yet that we're built to industry standards, but we're getting there. We started with a faculty-driven process. This is really the critical part of this. We need faculty to champion this, and in fact, We had folks stand up at 5 colleges across LA, Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino County. So it's a super region, if you will, encompassing 2 of the community college regions. The problem that we presented to faculty was that as a region, we are actually producing 50% fewer completers than industry needs every year, and that our students aren't learning and able to apply their knowledge in a way that is responsive to industry's priorities. So those are 2 pretty key items that faculty resonated with. As we began to work with them, we realized there's a pretty big variance in consistency among the programs. The programs were very different. Some had, really advanced labs. Others their labs looked like museums. So these were things that came to light right away. We actually, over a period of 2 years, engaged 60 employers in this channel. They told us some really interesting things, is that they want to work with us. They want to help us enroll likely completers, people who they think will be able to enter the workforce. Internships, they want to offer internships. They call them 120-hour interviews, which I think is a really powerful way to think about it. And finally, they're really interested in proactive enrollment and employment campaigns, which means that we have industry visiting our colleges in May saying, I want the pick of the litter. So this is a really good thing. The basics here, we worked on heating, ventilation, air conditioning. That was the main technology we looked at. Some building blocks. Common outcomes was really the key that we looked at among all these colleges to build consistency. And industry value credentials, which is the essence of this branded channel, all of which leads to entry-level jobs. And then, of course, credit transfer, stackable certificates, and higher levels of specialization. We really want to offer career advancement, lifelong learning, and so forth. And these colleges, with the kind of programs that they have, do offer that kind of thing where someone could get a degree or a certificate in HVAC at El Camino College in Torrance, but they get a job because of the way the economy operates. They get a job in Palm Springs, so they can continue their education at College of the Desert, for these higher levels of specialization, because the building stock is much different, as you might imagine, in the desert than it is, sitting next to the Pacific. So let me focus then on the industry value credential piece of this. It is the core of what we're doing. We looked at these same 5 colleges. They all engaged in this process to align student learning outcomes across all 5 colleges. We worked with an industry association to identify an employment-ready credential for these entry-level jobs, and decided with faculty that we would actually benchmark their programs, all 5 colleges' programs, against this particular credential. And so we came up with a rating scale. We hired a consultant to do the work with the faculty. There were course outlines of record that were reviewed. There were faculty interviews, so forth. And the result looked like this, that we have most of our programs are 75% compliant with this industry credential. And those that are not, the gaps many times were that the course outline of record needed to be updated, that actually there was quite a bit being taught that wasn't recorded on the course outline of record. The other interesting thing about this that happened was that we benchmarked, we got a private training institution, offering online training called HVACR EDU, to benchmark their curriculum alongside of us. So now we have a competitive context for looking at what the outside world is doing and what we're doing inside the community college system. But again, this is really an important set of benchmarks. The faculty are now working on protocols for transfer among colleges. They're working on updating their curriculum where necessary. And so these are all important outcomes from this. The next thing that we looked at was, what is the blueprint to get to something we really could claim as being built to industry standards? And so we looked at the standard competency model. I'm sure you've seen different forms of this in many places. And so we picked one that was specific to HVAC, or heating, ventilation, air conditioning. And so what we have now is an employment-ready credential, which is this employment-ready that we benchmarked everyone against. We also have stackable certificates across these colleges. Some of the colleges have certificate programs at 18 units. Others have certificates at 42 units. So there's quite a bit of specialization across these colleges. We also were told that we need better soft skills. Our students need better soft skills, working in teams, critical thinking, showing up on time, customer service, those kinds of things. So now we're engaged with the new world of work in integrating a soft skills program into these curricula. And we also were told that our folks don't necessarily know how to apply the knowledge and skills that they've gained. They need more workplace experience. And so we can offer internships, but then there's kind of a need to even the level of experience across all these colleges. So we're looking at an online competency-based simulator that will actually provide an assessment that can be used by industry to say this particular student finished with this level of competency. So that's what we're doing. We're building this brand built to industry standards. Our brand is our promise. We're not going to roll this out until we feel like we do have a promise of being able to meet these industry standards, which should happen later this year. So I also think this shows the power of a sector-based initiative where you take and you do a deep dive into a particular sector for a cluster of occupations, and it shows regional collaboration, and it's also a very, very major cornerstone for my sector with strong workforce. So with that, I will turn it over to Kish.
Great, Jim, thanks. So, from our perspective, it's been a real pleasure working with Vaughn and with Jim on this. And, I come to this after having had the pleasure of working or getting to know many of you when I served in Governor Brown's administration, leading the Office of Business and Economic Development. Hi, Assembly Member. It's nice to see you again. Leader, right, as I should say. Let me not miss the. And so, look, when I was there, leading the Office of Business and Economic Development, the charge was thinking about what is the situation in California's economy broadly, our labor market, what are the employment opportunities of the future, how do we develop and advance policies that are going to put our folks to work and have California's economy be thriving and robust. And it's a big challenge, as we all know, given the changing nature of our overall economy. And so we were thinking about policies of all kinds about how we improve those prospects, and certainly not the least of which. And candidly, when I got there, I asked, all right, so what's our relationship to the workforce system, right? And they said, well, I don't know, you're in the chair now, go figure it out, right? And I said, all right. And so, of course, that led me very quickly to our Workforce Investment Board and the great work that's happening there. And it led me to Vaughn, quite honestly, and working in how we could collaborate. And so that was a great introduction to people that can make a difference, but it also identified some of the opportunities that we have to improve and refine the process of collaboration and really creating the alignment between, as I just look at it in the macro level, what's the demand out there? Where are jobs coming from? What are the opportunities for that we see in front of us? And then what's the supply that we have, right? And you all are the supply side of the equation, and industry is the demand side of the equation. How effectively are they aligned? Are they working from common sets of data and information? And are they collaborating on the development of ongoing, durable programs that can keep supply and demand in alignment and keep that pipeline robust and flowing effectively, right, at a very high level? And so that has been the challenge. It continues to be the challenge. And so when Vaughn and Jim came to me and said, hey, we have this very specific challenge and opportunity around SB 350 and the new building energy efficiency requirements that are out now in the marketplace, building owners and managers are going to have to understand and adapt and upgrade their facilities to be in compliance. That's going to generate a whole bunch of work and a whole bunch of need for workers. Do we understand what that is, and do we have mechanisms to create the workers to meet that demand? And I thought, what a great thing to dive into, because it's so precise, it's specific, it's not theoretical, it's happening right now because the policy's in place, the demand is growing. And I love the idea And I'll end by saying that I loved the idea about this project in that, one, it's very measurable. You know, one of the things that, especially from an industry perspective, that's so important is to be able to get at real data, real numbers, truly capture the demand picture. What are we actually going to need? And how do we then align our relationship with the community college system to see that the demand is going to be there, the supply is going to be there to meet that demand? And then furthermore, as we get more and more refined, how do we know, and I think what Jim just outlined through that overview of the process, how do we assess not only quantitatively that we're meeting the demand, but what's the quality in terms of the performance of those workers to really maximize the performance of what we're trying to accomplish. So I think this project, and as Jim, I think appropriately says, we're in the process of building it. It's a wonderful collaboration. My group at the Southern California Leadership Council has been proud to be a convener of industry parties, of local business folks, of the community college folks. We do have some of the workforce development folks around the table too, where we truly are living up to that notion of regional collaboration to look at this problem together. We're thinking innovatively around new data tools and new mechanisms that can create a common understanding, a common set of information that we're using. And then we're trying to create a durable mechanism whereby industry can continually inform the work that was described on those slides so that the supply side that you all are building stays calibrated to where demand is really going. So we feel very optimistic and very pleased about the progress that we've made so far. We have a ways to go, but I really believe that we're going to be successful in this particular example, and I'm even more excited that I think it will serve as an illustration of what's possible across all kinds of. This certainly is not. This process is not limited to this particular challenge, but I think it I think it can be a template for where we go from here. So very pleased to be part of it, and President, Vice President, and Chancellor, thanks for letting me be here this morning.
Thanks, Kish. That's conclude your presentation? Great. We have no speaker cards, right? Are any questions from Board of Governors members? Yeah, go ahead. Member Bolensky.
I may have missed this, but just for clarity, how did you get these 5 colleges involved in this program? And then I have one other question.
Well, we started with 14, so that's how you do it, and we narrowed it to 7. And through a process of meeting with these folks, the timing wasn't right for some. Others, they had programs that were led by adjunct professors and really weren't in a position to collaborate on something like this. So it actually came down to 5. And the interesting thing was that 2 of the faculty members, one at 2 colleges, like to view themselves as competitors. And we really had trouble getting them in the same room, but now they're best friends, and they're the leaders of this 5-college collaborative. And the other interesting thing about it is that we heard from one of the colleges, that one of the 14, that they were working with an employer to place some of their people, and the employer said, well, are you part of this Southern California HVAC collaborative? And the faculty member says, well, no, we're not. He said, well, then you better join, or I'm not going to hire your people. So, I mean, that's, one data point, but that's what we're hoping will happen with this.
And is there special funding for the colleges, particularly like if you have to have certain kind of equipment in classrooms or labs or?
Yes. So part of this was funded through the Career Technical Enhancement Fund.
Okay.
The $50 million. We got about $800,000 from that. Also, my group manages the Prop 39 Workforce Fund, which is $4.5 to $5 million per year. And so some of those Prop 39 funds went into this project as well.
If I could add one other sentence about that, which is those CTE monies are flowing now, and I think it's an enormous opportunity to put those funds to work in a way that is demonstrating at the regional level and then by extrapolation at the state level that we're investing in the workforce of the future, and that industry is confident and enthusiastic about that process. Everything that I'm seeing through this process and more broadly in the Southern California region, it's very positive. It's very encouraging about meeting the demand of the workforce needs of the future. There's so much controversy about things like green energy and climate and all. This town is about lots of debates on these things, and they're important debates. But what's exciting on the ground is that now that these policies in place, we're putting the money to work on the ground to try to help build these pathways to the future and create these jobs and putting people in these jobs and meeting the needs of industry. That's good environment, in this case, good economics. But I think there's a lot of positive things that are happening there.
Board Member Burdick.
Thank you. This sounds like a great program, and it's exactly the kind of model that we were hoping for with this project. I love the idea of a 120-hour interview. I thought that was a terrific thing, and it probably ought to be the term of art for this. But I did have a question about something that was said earlier, and that is that you were going to enroll likely completers. And I was wondering how you determine likely completers in this.
Yes. So we actually, with some of the Prop 39 funding, were able to contract with UC Davis and with RP Group to study this very issue. So we found that, and we focused on HVAC, and HVAC isn't viewed as a particularly attractive job. And so the recommendations that came out of that we're actually implementing now. They include really presenting our energy construction utility sector as a sector and letting people get excited about the possibilities of, lifelong careers. I mean, SB 350 goes all the way through the year 2050. So, I mean, we're talking about 30-year opportunities for folks to get into this. And then what happens is that some people are fit to be engineers, others might be an HVAC technician, someone else might be a salesperson or a facility manager. So, we kind of, let's get them in the door, let's get them excited about this, and then there's some parameters that we look at for completion, and we'll sort out who goes where, in the process.
Interesting. That kind of dovetails with the idea of a meta major that we're talking about in the
Correct.
In the other projects. I was also very glad to hear about the involvement of the faculty from the very beginning. Thank you.
Board Member Haynes, followed by Board Member Avalos.
Thank you. So my question goes to, my question goes to, you needed to build this model, and therefore what I understood you to say was that you really needed folks who were full-time, faculty that were full-time. And I want to, do you believe that once it's built, that adjunct faculty can be an integrative part of that, or is there a need to have a mix of full-time and part-time faculty in order to be successful if this gets, broader, there's broader application for other colleges?
Yes, adjuncts are very important. I mean, many times these are actual folks who are working in the industry and teaching part-time, so they have current knowledge. I think the rationale for the colleges saying they didn't have full-time faculty and couldn't participate was mainly a bandwidth issue, and they weren't going to pay the adjunct faculty to participate.
Board Member Avalos.
Thank you very much for the presentation. A couple of things in the presentation I haven't seen was statistics, numbers.
Right.
Can you give me a sense of volume? How many people are we completing, or what's the sense of completion to the future? So by college, is it 30? What number are we looking at here?
In these colleges, if you add up the numbers, it's about 350 to 400 per year that are completing versus a demand of 900 to 1,000. We add into that some number for the apprenticeship programs and private training institutions. So it gets to be about 600 total coming through versus 900 to 1,000 that are actually required according to the demand estimates.
And then what's the employment rate that's happening?
They're employing 150% of who we're producing, really. I mean, that's the problem with the industry is that, they're looking for a pulse, somebody that can drive a truck and follow a journeyman around to learn the trade, So there's a lot of demand out there for these folks that's unmet by any training institution. So the issue we have, though, is that our completion rate in HVAC is probably about 30% of those who enroll, which isn't that bad, actually, considering a lot of factors. But part of our study on enrolling likely completers was how do we improve that completion rate so that we're actually getting folks in who are likely to complete at the very beginning.
And if I could just add really quickly on the demand side, staying specifically around meeting the requirements pursuant to this piece of legislation that was passed last year and the building energy efficiency standards. It's still very, very early in the process for the building owners and managers for the industry demand side. They're just kind of now coming to understand and appreciate exactly what the requirements are, to assess what they're going to have to do with their own facilities and what kind of work may be necessary to get into compliance. There's a whole process that's needed just to create broader awareness in the marketplace around these coming requirements to them. So what I would say is that as the process unfolds, we certainly predict that demand's going to grow as awareness elevates and folks in the marketplace react. And that's why this project at the local level, Jim's done a great job of helping bring building owners and managers. My organization brings all the major utilities and other real estate interests in the region. We're talking to folks in industry to help them, frankly, even become aware of this requirement that they're going to have to meet. As that happens, I think you're going to see those numbers grow overall.
Board Member Sumner.
Does any of this crossover with the military? Somebody coming out would get credit? In other words, a lot of their training that they have, because when you're in the Army especially, you get a lot of working with all the equipment and training. Does any of that equivalent for new training to give them credit? Because this is a new field. Because I think this would be a great opportunity for the veterans, because they're already working on a lot of this equipment. And HVAC is really important. I mean, especially, God forbid, in any disasters, people need to know how to turn off an HVAC and things we need to know. So, and I can just see in the nursing field or hospital and everything like that, the first thing you think of is HVAC. Turn the HVAC off, and people go, "What's a HVAC?" So a lot of people don't understand the importance of what an HVAC is in our life.
That's exactly right. I mean, the folks coming out of the military really have great skills, either directly in HVAC or transferable into the HVAC field. I'm sad to say that our particular initiative isn't focusing on veterans at this point. We're trying to get an alignment that works. And individual colleges do have these programs. And faculty, of course, are granting credit for prior learning for the military as it's a fairly routine part of what they do. I mean, the faculty want these veterans in their classes.
Let me add to that. And tying it back to the point of industry valued third-party credential, I attended a meeting at the Pentagon, and the armed forces themselves, the Department of Defense, has actually worked to upgrade its training program such that an exiting veteran could carry a civilian industry valued credential. So they're actually thinking about what credentials to award that is portable into the civilian life as well. So once we have that, if they earn the same HVAR certification, then they can move on to specializations as well.
Great. I just have a couple of questions. One, how long has it taken you to get this far, and then how much longer to complete this so that you have this industry recognized credential?
In terms of getting the colleges aligned with this credential, they're all committed to it. We're going through a process now to make sure that they actually are compliant. We also have a proposal that's circulating for approval that would take this initiative to all 22 colleges with HVAC programs in the state. So we're looking at the next 18 months, I think, to have a similar level of quality throughout the state.
How long have you been at it, though, Jim? I mean, because
I've been at it. Well, I've been in this job 3.5 years. We started this project 2 years ago.
Okay, and then my last question is, there's so many different. You mentioned a number of occupations within the HVAC field, but this is really about the technicians, right? The HVAC technicians.
Correct.
What's the wage scale roughly for these jobs? I know it varies by region, but what are we talking about?
Yeah, I think the median is around $40 to $50 an hour. It's a very respectable wage.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Did you want to say anything else?
One closing comment.
Yeah.
Just in closing, I also want to thank panelists, and Kish, thank you for coming up.
Yeah.
I think this points out another common theme that we will be talking about for the next several years, and that is we've heard about the demand, and we are not currently meeting the demand. We're going to have to find ways to significantly increase our capacity to meet that demand. we're going to be spending a lot of time internally in the Chancellor's office trying to figure out how to increase the speed at which we're meeting this demand. Because as long as there's demand that we are not meeting as a community college system, somebody else is going to meet that demand. Somebody else is going to take advantage of that demand. And we have to recognize that this is a threat to our colleges. So we have to really work hard to help our colleges organize themselves in a way that they can quickly recognize and find ways to meet this demand locally. It's in the best interest of our students, it's in the best interest of our communities, and over time, it's going to be in the best interest of our colleges. So thank you for the work that you're doing, and I hope that we can begin to speed up the time at which it takes you and your colleagues to find ways to ratchet up our capacity to meet that demand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back to item 3.5, which is the 2016-17 Exemplary Program Award. Chancellor, I think Vice Chancellor Walker is going to
Yes.
take this along with Julie Bruno, President of the Academic Senate. Great.
Yes, we'll turn it over to Vice Chancellor Walker to introduce the award and our awardees.
Good morning, President Estolano, Vice President Epstein, board members, and Chancellor Oakley. The Exemplary Award Program, established in 1991, is a Board of Governors award program that recognizes outstanding community college programs and initiatives. Each year, the Executive Committee of the Academic Senate selects an annual theme in keeping with the award's traditions. Up to 2 college programs receive $4,000 cash prizes and a plaque, and up to 4 colleges receive an honorable mention and a plaque. This program receives sponsorship from the Foundation for the California Community Colleges, and Keitha Mills is with us to be part of the awards presentation. Since 1991, over 40 of our college initiatives have been honored, and more than 70 have received honorable mention. On the Academic Faculty Senate website, you can read about the very exciting programs and initiatives that for the past 16 years have been recognized by the Board of Governors for their extra work, their dedication to our students, and inspirational ideas that were developed in support of student success. In reading the exemplary program past honorees last weekend, I was reminded of the work supporting the development of the PACE program at Cerritos after spending time with our colleagues at LA Pierce in the 1990s, and cheering on the faculty who were honored for the teacher track programs, culinary and beacon programs, and learning about why first-year experience programs really work. We all learn from the brilliance of our colleagues, creativity, and hard work, and now Julie Bruno, President of the Academic Senate, will provide you information about this year's program, annual theme, introduce you to our fine honorees, and we'll have each of them come up and talk a little bit about their program, and then after we'll have the Chancellor and President offer them their awards and have pictures.
Good morning, President Estolano, Vice President Epstein, Chancellor Oakley, and board members. It's really a pleasure to be here to help with these awards. It's my first time, so I'm very excited. The Academic Senate selects an annual theme that honors the awards tradition as well as highlights statewide trends. This year, the theme is contextualized teaching and learning and was chosen to recognize the importance of contextualized learning in enhancing student achievement. Contextualized teaching and learning actively engages students and promotes improved learning and skill development through the use of innovation, strategies, and methods. We just actually heard a presentation about how we need to incorporate professional, what they call soft skills. I prefer professional or life skills because I'm one of those soft skills in communication studies. So this is a really, contextualized learning really brings in those skills to the classroom so that students can learn not only the content, skills and knowledge for the discipline itself, but also the skills that will serve them throughout their careers and their lives. So it's very exciting work. Our applicants are evaluated on evidence of the need of the program, innovation in meeting the need, and the program's overall success. Additionally, applicants must demonstrate collaboration with other programs programs at their college, as well as with community partners, and also support the college mission and scalability of the program. So the criteria is very robust and rigorous, and receiving the award is no easy task. Our award winners and honorable mentions are excellent examples of programs that meet and exceed this criteria that we've established. We're going to begin with the honorable mentions, and it is my pleasure to introduce colleagues from El Camino College for their Educational Development Department. El Camino College earned an honorable mention for its educational development programs. To better serve students, the ED program offers 15 courses that are comprised of academics, self-regulation, decision-making, and time management, as well as recognizing learning strengths and offering American Sign Language for students with hearing impairment. The program's use of contextualized practices are significant, and it's my pleasure to introduce Julie Land to tell us more about this program. Julie?
I'd like to thank you on behalf of El Camino College, the Special Resource Center, also known as Disabled Students Programs and Services, and to let you know that this award means a great deal to us as well as to our sister campuses, DS, PNS. Your handout shows that we serve students with a wide array of disabilities. And for those who don't have the handout, I'll review the list. Our students may have mobility loss, other health impairments, hearing, speech loss, visual impairment, acquired brain injury, autism spectrum disorder, learning disabilities, attention deficits, psychological disabilities, and/or intellectual disability. And the and/or signifies that a student can present with a combination of disabilities and therefore have a rather complex set of needs. So our response, given that we are a small department and we want to serve as many students as possible, is to offer up to 15 educational development courses which offer cross-curricular support. And our classes are listed again on side 1 of your handout. For those who don't have it, they range from support in English classes, reading and writing, math classes, career development, career preparation, writing skills, a 3-unit class, reading skills, a 3-unit class, and any number of strategies classes. Now, the context we addressed were really threefold. One was the Special Resource Center service area outcome to help students integrate fully into the campus and take full advantage of what the campus has to offer. The El Camino mission statement, which says our campus makes a positive difference in people's lives through excellent educational programs and collaboration with a diverse community. And then there are our psychoeducational goals, which are listed on your inspiration diagram. And I realize not everyone has the handout, but this is a mind map. I don't know if there's a way to show it. A mind map that shows that we're addressing academics, demystification, critical thinking, prioritizing use of assistive technology, such as this organizer, that we offer assessment, both not only for learning disabilities and careers, but just personal strengths and weaknesses so that students can make informed choices about how best to proceed with their education. And then, of course, there's the whole area of self-motivation, self-monitoring, disability integration, because some of our students are newly disabled and they're in the throes of that process. Then, of course, networking and the joy in learning. Now, the students may face limitations or challenges in learning, either from the disability itself or perhaps from the treatment. Maybe the medication they are taking will limit processing speed or compromise memory in some way. So, in any case, we offer hope and empowerment through a multimodal approach for students, whether they're in fact-based classes like history, procedural classes like math, or combination classes of facts and procedures, such as English, where they have to understand the facts of development of literary styles, and then, of course, produce a correctly organized, orchestrated paper. I want to be sensitive to the time, but if I might just give you one very quick example in addition to our inspiration graphic organizer, which is in a sense a mind map. I'd like to have you think for a moment, just imagine that you're seeing a word problem typed out. And for many of our students, word problems are absolutely the bane of their existence. They tend to strike terror in the heart. So if you could imagine this program typed out. 18 less than a number is equal to twice the opposite of that number. And just imagine it, even 18 is typed out in letters. It's not written as a symbol. So in the dance of math, we're constantly moving back and forth between verbal language and symbolic language. Symbolic language includes the direction, who's doing what to whom, and in what order do we start. So just as a brief example, we start by getting volunteers to accept these placards of the symbols, 18 less than, etc. But the real challenge comes in who's first, who starts the mathematical sentence. What's intuitive is that the first thing you've heard wants to be first, 18, but that would not be a correct mathematical sentence, a correct equation. So part of the joy of learning is that we have a group that is of 5 that's was volunteered to play the part of these elements, and then we have the students in the audience, so to speak, giving them direction. You stand here, no, you go there. When all is said and done, the goal is for them to realize that the mathematical sentence is a number minus 18 is equal to negative 2n. That's how we translate the verbal language we just read into something symbolic. We incorporate joy, we incorporate humor, and if I might just close with this quote from Einstein, I never teach my pupils, I only attempt to provide the conditions in which they can learn. And we really do strive to do that, to make it a joyous, multimodal approach so that students may reach their goals. And again, we truly thank you for recognizing us and what we do.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Why don't we have our next presentation? Yeah.
So our next honorable mention is actually near and dear to my heart. Sierra College Fire Technology Program. Sierra College, yay! And we're out in force today. They're all sitting behind me. So Sierra College Fire Technology Program earned an honorable mention through the use of contextualized learning and teaching to engage students while in the Fire Academy. By using web-based platforms and other innovative resources, instructors are able to create video lessons for all students to access at home and provide an ease of learning. As a result, Sierra College is one of the leading fire service and educational training locations in the state, and the fire technology program at Sierra is well on its way to becoming a model program through its shared resources and innovative instructions. And is with college pride that I introduced Tim Palmer and Matthew Jewett, faculty leads for our fire tech program at Sierra. Would you please come and join me? And and Andrea Neptune, our academic senate president. Are you coming?
Yes.
Okay. Come sit.
I got the email about a speech, so I'm the one who prepared
you're
it.
the
So
speech.
Tim's looking very flustered right now. All right. Good morning. So in 2013, Sierra College hired Tim Palmer as our new fire technology coordinator, and also Matt Jewett as our fire technology instructor, both former firefighters, to continue work on our established and effective fire technology program. Over the past 3 years, the fire technology program developed into one of the state's leading fire service educational and training locations for hundreds of students seeking careers in the fire service. For starters, the program has increased dramatically in the last 3 years, from 1 academy per year to now administering 2 Firefighter 1 academies per year, as well as a Firefighter 2 academy, the first of its kind in California. Being a leader in the fire service education, Sierra College is the only community college teaching the new national model Firefighter 1 curriculum, and was chosen as the beta test site for administering this curriculum. Other community colleges and fire academies have since modeled their programs after Sierra College's. The enrollment to the Fire Academy has also skyrocketed from just 25 applicants in fall of 2013 to over 90 per semester. In fall 2014, the overall success rate was 81%, and it has risen to 90%. Retention rates have risen from 90% to 96%. Since 2014, the Fire Technology Program has issued over 2,200 individual California State Fire Training certifications to Fire Academy students, and another 1,200 California State Fire Training certificates to in-service career firefighters. Further, 98% of Fire Academy graduates are immediately placed into full-time internships with local fire agencies after graduation. All this in just 3 years. I look forward to what the future holds. Just recently, in partnership with the Administration of Justice Department, a student public safety club was created to aid students in their pursuit of a public safety career and in community involvement. As members of our educational master plan, the program leaders were also able to secure a large parcel of land adjacent to our main campus in Rockland, now designated for a Sierra College Public Safety Training Center. In sum, our fire technology program has evolved from great to exemplary, thanks to the hard work of our program leaders. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say thank you for the recognition, and we couldn't do what we do without the support of all you folks, and certainly our faculty and staff, President, Vice President, Dean, Matt Jewett. I think the key is to get an old firefighter and a young firefighter together with a good supportive advisory board that create lots of, what worked then and what's working now, and you put that together and you create some really good things, and you hire great staff, and again, the support of our board and you folks. It's an honor to be recognized, and we thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much. Okay.
So on to our award winners. One of our award winners, MiraCosta College, has won the Exemplary Program Award for their Health Start program. MiraCosta's college was selected to receive this award. The program aims to assist students, many of whom are from underrepresented communities, to successfully improve skills in prerequisite courses which lead to careers in nursing and other allied health fields. The program has had measurable success in closing the equity gap and has increased students' access to supportive services such as career services, writing center, counseling, and EOPS. Student improvement has been achievable through innovative instruction, contextualized curriculum, and common intellectual experiences. I'd like to welcome Teresa Gunyon and Julie Vignato, who will tell us more about MiraCosta's Health Start program.
Good morning. My name is Julie Vignato, and I'm one of the nursing faculty at MiraCosta College. And first, I'd really like to thank you all for this award. It's really humbling and honoring, and thank you all on behalf of the students. Health Start was initially created because we were observing that 1/3 of our underrepresented students were underprepared to handle the rigors of our nursing and allied health programs. Specifically, they were deficient in English composition as well as math. And along with this, there is a national call to action by the National League for Nursing and updated and published in 2016 to increase diversity in the nursing workforce to promote cultural competency and quality of care for our diverse national population. This program has showed tremendous success. We have over 93% success and retention rates. Let me just see here. Yes, and I believe that the success of the program is due in part to contextualized learning as well as amazing colleagues and collaboration. So thank you again, and I'm going to turn it over to Teresa Guinan for more information.
Hi, again, I want to echo just when we found out we won, we were like, our little program, it's so little, but it was intense. It built up on an LLPB grant, Link Learning from high school to university, and we got this grant and we worked through, I went to a lot of the CTE programs. I'm an English teacher for pre-transfer developmental students, and I just knew that there was a call to contextualize my learning for what the students want and need. So I went to Julie, she's outstanding for going above and beyond, and I said, would you work with me? And she said yes, and from there we brought in counselors and CTE deans, student services dean and chair. We would sit at a table, and that was what the LLP grant people were most impressed about, is they've never seen so many people from so many disciplines, English, math, sitting at the same table month after month, building a plan for one stretch class, one first-year experience. But it took that intense collaboration from the faculty-driven standpoint for me to basically say, this is about getting our students into a class that matters to them. They dread math and English, okay, because it has no purpose for them. And I thought, I've been teaching this gig for 20 years. I want to do something that matters. So after my research, I worked with the nursing department. What kind of writing do they do? I did research on the Scholarship of Composition in Nursing. It took me a good year to create the curriculum. I've implemented it, but that's one piece of it. I'll give you an example of a typical essay. They researched, after they did their career research, care versus cure, which is a big deal, right? Technology versus the heart of nursing. Over the historical time span of nursing, in their specific specialty that they want to go into. So they got all those overlaps of, and it was rigorous research, and I worked with them side by side, but that's the kind of reading and writing that students love when they want to go into allied health. They do not want to read about Shakespeare for the 15th time, okay? So yeah, I do love Shakespeare, but I'm a lit major, but I really believe in cross-disciplinary, across the curriculum writing. That's just what the students need. I mean, I would teach English for the refrigeration people if you wanted me to, okay? I also wanted to mention we don't have the career counselor and coordinator here, and that's the other facet of what made this work, is from day one, Maria Martinez was an associate counselor who got hired for the job. And we went out to the high schools, we presented to the high schools their allied health programs. We recruited from spring to get students to come into fall. We did orientations like the Puente model over summer, working with the students, helping them matriculate, but together. So they saw the instructor and the counselor and the coordinator like we're their partners and just for them. And I know it seems extremely labor intensive, but it's so worth it because our typical grad rates for English 100 are at the success rates are at 65, 69%. We had 96% for that cohort. And again, I got to do the stretch model from developmental in fall to transfer level in spring. So I got to, those were my babies, and everything from high school students to returning students. And the equity gaps by just going to our community high schools, majority of my students are bilingual. We have a huge need for bilingual nurses, but the humps of getting over these English and the math and all that is just, it's high. So I integrated careers into the class. I've integrated financial aid into the class, EOPS. I've integrated, we're going to come back next week and write scholarships. So all those other soft skills we're working on continuously within the context of their career interests, their academic interests. So again, I'm babbling right now, but thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate your recognition.
A great presentation. Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
So our final award winner is Reedley College for their Reedley Middle College High School, where they address the needs of a community where only 15% of the local population has obtained a college degree. By creating Reedley Middle College High School, which is acronymed RMCHS, on their campus, the college provides a space for students to obtain hands-on career experience, specifically in agriculture and business, reflecting the needs of the local economy. The innovative structure of the program is achieved through supportive resources and contextualized learning. It is my pleasure to introduce Adelpha Lorenzano, who will share further information about their program.
Good morning, President, Vice President, Chancellor, and esteemed members of the board. My name is Adelpha Lorenzano. I'm the very proud program coordinator for Reedley Middle College High School, and I'm also a very proud alum of the California Community Colleges. I am a Reedley College alum, and with that, I'm very, very excited to be here today. Obviously, it's a very big privilege to be here to talk about our school and talk about our program at Reedley College. We make every attempt to make this high school a memorable one, especially being on a college campus. And we have provided our first draft of our brochure for this school year with your materials this morning. This past spring, we graduated our first graduating class as we only opened our doors in August of 2012. And of the 19 students that graduated, our students earned an average of 39 college units while at Middle College High School. They earned a class cumulative GPA of a 2.9, and they attempted 905 units while on our campus and actually completed 759, which equates to 83% completion. Our average college savings, because obviously college fees are waived when our students are attending Middle College High School, and each student saved on average about $2,200, not including textbook costs. 16 of our 19 students were A through G eligible as well. So one currently is at UC Davis, 2 at Fresno State, and the remaining students are at Reedley College completing their associate's degree and preparing for transfer. I'd also like to share our class of 2017 is also showing promising results, and they have earned a college average college number of units of 42 at this point. This is ending the fall term. They have a class GPA of a 2.88, and our entire class has attempted 1,084 units and have completed 1,010, which equates to a 93% completion rate for their college classes. Middle College High School supports the mission of Reedley College by serving as an innovative learning opportunity for our students and the surrounding communities. We are recognized by the Chancellor's Office and, of course, the California Department of Education, and the school offers our students the opportunity to attend and earn college credit on the actual college campus. And part of Middle College High School, our students must follow the matriculation process. They apply, they have to complete the college orientation, they must meet with our college counselors, and so all of our students are encouraged, and actually I am on them every day, and they will tell you that at break and lunch. Have you seen your counselor? Have you updated your SEP yet? And so especially our juniors and seniors, we're really focused on having them complete their student ed plans because we want them to be on course for completion. I'm sorry, I have to follow my notes this morning. I don't want to forget anything that's really awesome in our school. But our students are very involved on the campus. They are actually part of the process at the college. They take part in various activities throughout the entire school year. Transfer day, they're part of ICC and have their own college club. They are the Middle College High School ambassadors, so they do have a seat at ICC. We prepare and involve our students in commencement as well. We want them to get an idea of what commencement is all about, and they do serve as ushers, but it's a great opportunity for them to see themselves in the future. We're also very pleased that in our 5th year that we will have our groundbreaking for our permanent facilities at Reedley College on February 1st, and this is with the support of Kings County Unified School District, our partner school district. We'll be located on the north end of the campus, so our students will still have full access to all of our student support services at the college itself. A program such as Middle College High School doesn't become successful overnight. Obviously, we've only been in existence for 5 years. but it's the support of all the individuals on campus and obviously our K-12 partners as well. So I'd like to thank my colleagues and my administrators, especially at Reedley College and that at Kings County Unified School District. I also like to thank the board so very much for recognizing the efforts of Reedley College and what they are doing for our student success.
I'd be remiss if I didn't indicate to you that President Sonny Cook has both texted me twice this morning and sent me an email that says, "Thank you, Chancellor, thank you, Board, for honoring MiraCosta College," and that hopes all these programs will scale up to work at all 113 of our colleges. So thanks again, and now we'll take some time for pictures and for you to honor them with their awards.
Yes, so if the honorees can come up and receive their awards, and again, I just want to take a second to thank all of you for your tremendous work. Thank you, Julie, and to the Academic Senate for finding these fine programs. I think these are wonderful examples of how we as a system office want to continue to encourage and empower faculty and staff to do this great work, because one thing is clear in all of these programs, that there are excited, committed champions, and the students feel and appreciate that, and that's what really makes these programs wonderful, is the people behind the program. So thank you.
I think as the honorees are coming up, I want to make a comment. I think some of the other board members might. I have to say, all of you who made presentations, it's just very moving to hear your stories and the passion that you have for teaching and for helping each of these students kind of make their way through the process and achieve is just, it's infectious. And so thank you so much for taking the time to put together such wonderful presentations and to share with us the stories of what you've done, the actual nuts and bolts of what it takes to make these programs work. And thank you, Pam, and thank you, Julie, for bringing everybody together. Thank you, Keitha, for providing support for this program. Are there any other board members who'd like to make any comments or ask any questions of any of the honorees before we do the photos? Let's go with Board Member Haynes.
Much of what's been said is what I wanted to say, so I won't repeat, other than to say two things. One, the critical nature of one person who has an idea and talks to their colleagues, and they join in. The critical importance of teaching across curriculum and interdisciplinary collaboration. Those are all part of this wonderful mix, and I just want to congratulate you.
Yeah. Member Sumner.
I'm just so proud to be a part of this board. I mean, this is like exciting. This is like thinking out of the box. This is like a collaboration. This is reaching out to the community, and every community should have this. So, my hats are off to you. In the military, I would salute you guys. You rock, and keep it coming and keep pushing us so we can make more of these things happen. This is like a really exciting day for me. Of course, nursing, education, fire department and all that kind of stuff, but
it's got
special
all the
needs.
elements.
I mean, I'm like a happy kid. I'm like a kid in a candy store. But thank you for everything you've done, and I really salute you for what you've done, your hard work, and keep it
Great.
going.
So we're going to take some photos, and then we'll take time. Yeah, let's do that. Absolutely.
I know. But I,
Oh, no, no, no.
you did a good job. Are you ready? Debbie, she wants you to come with her. Our big advocate of Debbie goes and it's good.
We'll be back at 10:15. Everybody gets a 5-minute break.